I'll keep you on task, Rambler. This is our unofficial opening. Welcome back.
I do not ramble.
Yes, you do. Another episode of BD Radio, where today we are talking about social occasions, and it is social occasion time aplenty. Not just because restrictions have lifted, but because it's Christmas time. My favourite time of the year, as our clients know. I'm playing the carols already. Have done for a fortnight. Anyways, what to do over this time of year in regards to social occasions is a question we get a lot, and it's how to eat out and what should I order and what should I avoid. And I think there's a lot of stress and anxiety that comes around that. It's because we can't use our routine as a crutch anymore. You know, that we preach, please, how many podcasts have we done now? We've preached control the controllables to all of our guys for a long time, and the fact that you can't control everything, I think it creates a fair bit of stress, and hopefully after listening to this, it'll help ease your stress.
Yeah, so speaking of, that was funny that you just said we can't control everything, which is absolutely true.
Can control a lot.
We can, and people think if they can't control everything, then they can control nothing. Like, it's not one or the other. So it's always a question of what can we control rather than can we control it, yes, or can we control it, no.
Well, anxiety comes from focusing on what you can't control. Yeah, and comfort comes from nailing what you can. So let's focus on the comfort and ease the anxiety. Thank you, Dr.
Advice.
Phil.
Yeah, listen to him.
Call me Dr. Phil. All right. Anyways, so the first point I wanted to make. So this podcast will be largely based around nutrition and the psychology around that. But the first point is, just because you may not be eating that well, or you've got a lot of social occasions and there's probably a little bit more alcohol out and around, doesn't mean that your activity level should suffer. Point number one, guys, please do your best to maintain your activity, because I guess our industry is riddled with the all or nothing mentality. Like, if I can't do it perfectly, then why would I even try? Yeah. You can still train 3 to 4 times a week. You may actually even notice that your training improves a little bit just because of the extra fuel. So definitely maintain your activity as best you can over this period.
Yeah. So, if it does so happen that you have occasions at your training time, so if you're someone that trains at night typically, and they've got a few Christmas parties going on and they can't make their 3 sessions, don't write off the week.
Quick question. Do you know of a gym that has a flexible timetable where you could potentially come to maybe not just one locked-in class?
Yes, that's true. BD Fitness is a great place.
In Fairfield, for those wondering. Yes, but... Yes.
But even if you couldn't make another time slot and you couldn't train your 3 days a week, often we hear that, it was just too hard. Like, I couldn't train on the Thursday, so I gave up. Like, I didn't come on my regular Saturday. It's like, well, you still could have come on your Saturday and you would have benefited from coming on the Saturday.
Just lower your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
Something's way better than nothing. So try not to worry about what you can't do, worry about what you can do. Maybe you've got time to squeeze in an extra walk on the Friday. Like, it's all
exactly.
it's all about more and not focusing on the less. Moving on to the social occasion, and one of the big things that you've probably heard us talk about a lot, and you're like, oh, guys, like, I get it. I'm like, well...
Do ya?
Well, like, some of you do, but some of you are still struggling with this, and this is why we talk about it a lot, and it's preparation. So if you know on... perfect example. You're going out for tea tomorrow night.
I am. This is rare.
Yeah, very rare. So talk us through some of the things that you're going to do tomorrow that would be automatic for you, because, you've obviously got a little bit more knowledge around nutrition than the average Joe or Joanne. What sort of things are you doing tomorrow to help, I guess, allow for the meal out tomorrow night?
Yep, so I'm still going to get up and have my healthy breakfast like I normally would.
Yep.
And I'll still eat lunch like I normally would.
Yep.
I just confirmed dinner time recently, and it's 7:30, so that's quite late.
Which is, just for those who know you, they know that's your bedtime. For those who don't know you, they're like, yep, cool, regular dinner slot, whatever.
So that's quite late for me. So I know that if I didn't eat from lunchtime until 7:30, I'd be in strife. Like, I'd be starving.
It'd also be a nightmare to hang around after 5:30.
This is true. I would be very hangry. So I'm planning to have something to eat at about 5-ish. So
Yeah.
I'll eat like with the kids before
And
I go
me.
out for dinner.
Yeah. So, but would you have a full meal? Like, what would you prioritize? Like, what would your meal consist of?
Yeah. So I'll prioritize protein because generally
Yep.
when you're out, that's
Most satiating nutrient,
yeah, exactly something.
most expensive nutrient
That
when
is
you're
true.
out as well. Like, when I say protein, we're talking meats mainly.
Yeah, and I'm also out with a bunch of people that I wouldn't normally be out with. So I haven't actually met a lot of them. Like, I'll be meeting them for the first time. So, if it is a shared, I don't know if it's kind of a shared plate arrangement. So that way I can really control the amount of food I have because I won't be so hungry.
Yep. Is it also probably fair to say that because you don't know the restaurant or what you will be ordering, that you'll probably maybe be even a little bit more strict on the day, as compared to pre-researching the menu and knowing that you can order the fish, the chicken, the
Yep.
meat, like you already know what's available compared to just I'm flying in blind.
Yeah.
So you just allow yourself a little bit of that extra room to move.
Yeah. So to be honest, like, I'll have a reasonable sized dinner before I go.
Yep.
Like, that way that I could eat nothing and
Yep.
be happy. Like, I'm still happy
Yeah,
for it to
so-
be a shared, arrangement. And if I
Have a bit of
choose
a
not
pick,
to
have a
eat
bit of-
anything, then, I can do that.
Yep.
And generally in those types of situations as well, when everyone is sharing, like, it's not really like, oh, what are you eating? Do you know what I mean? People aren't looking at your one plate, your one meal.
Yeah.
So, like, you can get away with having as much or as little as you like.
They may also not know you're a nutrition coach, so it won't be like apologising for their meal choices, which would be interesting. Oh, I know you guys would never eat this. It's like, you just, I guess, stick to your own guns when you're out or to what you enjoy. My other question, which I've just forgotten, but, yes. So, like, what you order when you're out and how much you eat when you're out, it's got to be context dependent, right? So a good choice for you tomorrow night may not be a good choice for one of your nutrition clients at the moment who has a goal of weight loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess
coming
it's,
back to that preparation,
Yeah.
like, it depends. Like, every situation is different. Like, for example, we're saying, I don't know where I'm going, so I can't look at a menu. It's most likely going to be a shared arrangement.
Yep.
Like, there's so many unknowns in that situation. Whereas if I was going somewhere with my friends and I knew where we were going, 100% I'd look up the menu, decide what I'm eating.
Yeah, which would then probably have a bit of a trickle-down effect to tonight's tea, tomorrow's meals, right? You're just in a little bit more control. Beautiful. I think that preparation is probably the thing that most people get wrong. And, like, if we go to the other end of the spectrum, it's like, oh, I'm eating out tomorrow, so the whole day's a write-off. And this sort of comes back to that, like, something is better than nothing. Like, just because you're going out for dinner doesn't mean that your healthy brekkie isn't, like, a really good choice, or a healthier lunch isn't a really good choice. Like, we hear, so, I'm eating out, it's going to be a disaster. I was like, well, you still need calories to live. You still need
to eat,
food to function. Like, just because it's not perfect food doesn't mean that it's still not helpful. Like, you can always, to keep yourself in that positive mindset, which is really important this time of the year, that you don't let the choices kind of weigh you down. Like, God, it's all becoming a bit much, because the last thing you want to do is just hit the eject button and then just throw it all away. That's obviously going to be way worse than trying to make small choices here and there to improve.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're eating out at Macca's. Like, there's some quite
Hello
good...
to Macca's if you're listening. Obviously, they won't be a sponsor of the podcast.
There are always better options. Like, when you are at a restaurant, like, you could go the burger and chips.
Yep.
Or you could go fish and veggies. Like,
And
there
either
are
would be just
varying-
fine.
Yeah, depending on what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
So if we always think about that continuum, so not healthy and unhealthy.
Yeah, tick
But-
cross. We don't want the tick cross.
We don't want the tick cross. We just want to make our decision a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so, if we are looking at losing weight, we probably don't want to go the burger and chips.
Yeah.
But, if it's night, we're letting our hair our hair down.
First time I've eaten out in a month.
First, yeah, you want to
It's like,
enjoy
I'm
a
gonna
burger.
enjoy the burger
You
and
enjoy the
chips.
burger.
Yeah. Make sure you enjoy the burger and you don't have any of that like hangover guilt.
Yeah.
That's the worst because that'll start to affect your choices the next day and the day after, whereas you just want to put it behind you. The second one is, and you touched on it then, and I should have mentioned this at the start. Like, make sure that you've had that internal discussion or external. You can talk to us about it. We love these chats, obviously. It's what we do. Like, is this actually that important to me at this time of year that I still want to progress forward? Or am I happy to relax a little bit and maintain my results? Like, decide before, because to progress is a lot harder than to maintain. So if you just decide that, you know what, this next 3 weeks I've had a great 12 weeks of training and nutrition, like I want to know how I can maintain these results. I don't want to go backwards, but that gives you a little bit more scope to relax rather than being as strict as you would as if you're trying to improve. Like, it takes a lot to improve, not as much to maintain.
Yeah, and that's a really good point you make that I think people often overlook. They see progress and then they see negative.
Yeah.
There is no maintain. Like, people skip that bit.
Yeah.
Maintaining is taking your foot off the pedal. Like, it
Not
is
completely.
it is being a little bit more relaxed. It is a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you have more, like it's basically like, like if we use the financial, like if you are, yeah, I know.
I know. I'm looking at
the money example.
Looking
I'm
a
like,
bit funny here. Ben and financials.
Yeah, not my strong suit. But in this case, I'll make a hell of an analogy. Like, if you need 100K to live every year, like that pays all your bills and all that. Like, if your expenses are 100K and your income is 103, like that doesn't leave you much room to move. And that's basically what trying to progress does. Like, you have to be a little bit stricter. You have to make some tough calls. But if you get a new job and now you're earning 130, all of a sudden you've got room for a holiday or redo your kitchen, or like something comes up. Like,
again, he knows nothing about money, guys.
I know nothing about redoing your kitchen or going on holidays for the past 4 years. I'm a small business owner, but like, you just have more. You can stress less. You can stress less. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Danielle's the financial planner at BD Fitness, but I think that's a pretty good analogy.
No, it is true.
Okay, good. And I think most people will be able to relate to that, because I think, and this comes back to the information put out by our industry, but so much of it is trying to overcomplicate things to make yourself look like an expert, when like fitness and health is really logical. Like, when broken down, it makes a lot of sense in theory, but it's often a little bit harder in practice. So, prepare when you're going out, know what's coming up, and try and nail like the meals either side of your occasions. So that's breakfast, lunch on the same day, just assuming it's a dinner. If it's not, like if you're going out for lunch, nail your breakfast, nail your dinner. Like it works both ways. Give your choices context and considerations. So let's say one springs up out of nowhere, like last day of school, hey, we're all going out to what's like a family restaurant, Sophia's in Camberwell. We're all going to get food poisoning, so let's go to Sophia's. But hello, Sophia's, if you're listening. Also, again, probably not lining up for sponsorship of BD Radio, but it's like, oh, okay, like I wasn't really planning on it. It's it's sprung up on me. Now, how do I navigate this? Because now there's that stress of, oh, I haven't prepared. I haven't prepared as much as I would if I knew it was coming. How can I make the best possible choice? And this is where we come back to, how do we build a plate? Like, we focus on first, where can I get a good, healthy source of protein? Sophia's is an Italian restaurant, so probably not pizza. Okay, if I want to be healthy here, it's probably not pasta either. I'm looking at more your chicken dishes or your meat. Okay, cool. Now, do I want the fries with it? Probably not. Can I ask for a side serve of vegetables? Like, I'm not I'm not breaking down anything here that's like overly scientific. It's just literally giving your meal more thought than, oh geez, this has caught me by surprise, just order the pasta. And it's just
think about it.
Yeah. And I think so many people skip this, or they're like
You know what surprises me? Like the anxiety.
everything?
Well, that's true. I am often surprised by nutrition.
Yeah, the anxiety, because you're
The anxiety
out of your comfort
behind,
zone.
like, the surprise of we're eating out, like, shouldn't automatically result in bad. Like, people hear out and they automatically go to a very bad place.
Yep.
It's like, well, no, just think meal. Like,
Yeah.
what meal were you planning to have? Try and make it as close as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, like, try and make the best decision you can.
Yeah.
Take confidence in your knowledge. Like, how much did we learn with our nutrition guys that they knew more than they thought, but they didn't have the reassurance or the confidence that it was correct?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I did so many, like, questions for my guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And a lot of people said, like, with their feedback, that was their biggest, like, thing that they enjoyed. Like, a really big takeaway was the knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
like, am I going to nail this? Hold on one sec. Oh, is Michael looking for Mia? Yeah, he is. He brought over donuts before. That's off plan. I'm going to have to eat those later. But, so nailing that, having trust and faith in what you know. But, and this is what it comes back to as well. Like, if you don't know anything, that's okay. Like, we all started off not knowing it. God, I knew nothing. Like, and this, not joking here, like, I had no idea what I was doing, basically, until I invested the time in learning how to do it. And if you're at that stage where it's like, my nutritional skills are pretty low, like, that is perfectly okay. We all start somewhere. But we've got some guides on macronutrients. Like, we try and pump out as much stuff, obviously the podcast episodes as well, but like
in simple language as well.
Yeah, in language that people, because it's less important what you know, it's more important what you can apply. So I might have a scientific degree in nutrition, but if I don't know how to order a meal out, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So
bang on.
Yeah. So I'm getting lots of compliments in today.
I was about to say, goodness me, Ben.
Well, you know what? Truth be told, this is our second recording of this episode, and I turned the last one into an R-rated bloody... It was not good.
It was terrible, guys. We might put a bloopers reel together at some stage.
I've deleted it.
Oh, you deleted it?
Yeah, I've wiped it.
Probably for the best.
It destroyed our family brand in one sentence. Anyone who wants to know what I said, just ask me at the class. Yeah. So it was, upskilling your knowledge to the point where you can apply it's really important. So, if you haven't seen our free guides, please shoot us a message. I'll send them all to you. Explain anything you need to know. Like, they're really easy to understand. We also give you some portion ideas and how much you might need for yourself and your goals, and you don't have to carry food scales. Otherwise, that would invite a lot of questions.
Very handy.
People, so let's see, break it down. If you were going to dinner with your new colleagues or people you haven't met tomorrow night, and it's like, wowee, here comes the lady with the fruit scales. It's probably going to invite some questioning. So it's probably better that you just use your hand. All right. Anything else that people need to know?
So we're also talking about environments.
Oh, yeah.
So making sure, this time of year people are out a lot more. So sometimes we don't get the opportunity to maybe do our regular shops during the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're caught with nothing in the house.
The inside man. We've got all our focus on the outside eating, and then it's the inside man that kills us.
So it's really important that the staples we have available to us in our house support what we are trying to do. So what we always have, like our go-to, we always have things in the pantry like oats, chia seeds, that kind of thing. So when we do have no food, we still have food.
Whip up some porridge.
Yeah. Like, it's still something that is not going to... Everyone be like, oh, I had nothing, so I just... I went to the pantry and I just grabbed a packet of XYZ. It's like, well, we don't have that available to us.
Yeah.
So we're not going to eat it.
Yeah.
So really make sure that, those good staples that you can have available in the pantry support what you're trying to do. So if weight loss is one of them, refined high sugar snacks are probably not ideal to have around.
Not ideal, but not uncommon at this time of year as well.
Exactly.
Like how many presents are,
Yep.
Cadbury roses favourites.
Yeah.
In our house only the Turkish delights are left. But it's like there are things you can do. Like what I would encourage you to do, because if it was me, if they're in the house, they're going. So I just re-gift them. Like if we get favourite, and to be honest, no one really gives us that because they know we don't really like it. But, like if you get a present from a work, colleague and it's a box of favourites, just take off the card and send it on down the road.
Thank you very much. Here you go, Grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Grandma loves the roses. Yes, and just another point on that, you made the point about the pantry. I want to make a point about the fridge. So if you know that, things are going to be tight, when you do get the opportunity to cook more at home. Like we usually twice a week we'll make, like this week it was a big chili con carne. That's been a meal for all of us at home, as well as 4 lunches or 3 lunches.
Yeah.
Perfect. The longer the week goes, the less food we have in the house, the more helpful it is to have pre-prepared stuff. We often do a roast on the weekend. Try and lock in 2 nights of the week where you can do a bit of prep and just have some stuff left over. Makes it so much easier.
Definitely.
So just to end on that note, guys, the 3 things to focus on are maintaining your activity, preparing for the occasion. Actually, you know what? It's more than 3 things. Point number 3, move on quickly.
Hang on.
What?
Okay, yep, 1, 2, yep, 3.
Yeah. So try not to be too reactive. Like it only takes 1 meal to get right back on plan.
Yep.
And the third one is to not panic if it's sprung up and just think through your choices and trust your skills.
Yep. I have one more thing.
Okay, so 5 things.
Yeah.
Should we rewind? You know what? I'll rewind.
No,
I think 5 things.
No, it's okay. So
Write these
also,
down.
what people tend to do
Give people
is
time to get out a pen and paper.
From Christmas until they go back to work, it's a free-for-all. So, sure, guys, on Christmas, I don't think anybody watches what they eat. We're having a good time. We're with family. Let's enjoy it.
Also,
that's one day of the year that,
Not that you need our permission, but please don't. Just enjoy your day.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, exactly.
However, that does not need to go on for the month.
Not if it's not your goal.
Like if you're someone that is either, and weight loss doesn't have to be the goal as well. Like you could
overall health.
Yeah,
it doesn't really lend itself to eating in excess.
No, so definitely don't let it drag on for weeks. Enjoy that time with your family. Enjoy going away on holidays, but you don't need to make every meal. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to be too negative.
Optimal.
Yeah, like you can
pig out.
Yeah, like treat every meal on its own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately every meal's an opportunity to further your health.
Yeah, exactly. So don't just be like, oh, it's a bad month.
Yeah.
I'll fix it next year.
Yeah. Just because you've got a lot of leftovers doesn't mean they have to be eaten within the week. You can spread them out.
Yeah.
Like you were very impressed with me. I think it was last year where I kept my M&Ms for over a week.
I couldn't believe it, guys.
Yep.
Coming from the boy that used to sit there and would sit there feeling ill but had to finish the box.
This is me.
So I was very proud of you.
All or nothing me. I was like, just get them out of the house, and the way they're getting out of the house is down my throat.
Yep. You're a changed man.
Changed man. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you've got any questions, as always, flick them through. We love to read them. We also love to answer them. We won't leave you hanging, promise. All right, have a nice week.
Bye.